So the last video for tonight is chapter 15 in the 3rd edition, chapter 16 in the 4th edition, and it is called Call a Foul. And this chapter is really about calling out situations that need to be called out, but recognizing when to walk away. So, for example, the 7 rhetorical out of bounds include switching tenses. If someone is switching tenses on you and they're constantly flipping from the past to the future to the present and they're not landing on one tense, like that high school vice principal, you know that they are making poor or weak arguments and it's going to be hard to logically and rhetorically answer them. 2 is inflexible insistence on the rules. If somebody says, no, these are the rules and we're playing by the rules, fine. But you need to know the rules better than they know the rules. This is me with any board game. I'm a vicious board game player because I know all the rules and I will make sure to enforce the rules as I kick your ass. I also talk shit the entire time. Humiliation and threats I put together because really the rhetorical answer is who are they and do they have power over you? So if they are somebody who has power over you, you have to figure out why they are threatening you or trying to humiliate you, trying to get power over, trying to make you insecure. Figure out who they are and why they have that power and what you have to do to respond. If that person has no material impact on your life, do you care? So if someone from the internet who's a random stranger that you've never met is trying to threaten you or humiliate you, does that matter? And do you need to respond? But if it's your boss who's trying to threaten and humiliate you, you better read up on Title IX, huh? Innuendo is when someone is being intentionally slippery or tricky with words. And if they are intentionally being tricky, how are you going to answer them without them tricking their way or slipping their way out of your accusation? I had an old landlord who may have been inappropriate sometimes in the things that he said. And one time I was arguing about the heat, and I said, when is it going to be fixed? And he says, well, the heat will turn up when I get there. Oh, okay. So when are you going to replace the thermostat? You have to figure out if somebody is intentionally being tricky, how are you going to answer them with logic? With nasty signs or threats or language, I think that it depends on the context. So if my sister and I are arguing about money and I say, where's my 50 cents, bitch? She's going to laugh because that goes back to high school when she worked at Denny's as the trashy waitress at Denny's. If I'm arguing with the manager at the Family Dollar and I say, where's my 50 cents, bitch? Then I'm rhetorically out of bounds. Utter stupidity. Utter stupidity is something that you cannot answer for and you can't fix. So think about this. If someone is stupid in your mind, why are you going to try to explain to them logic enough and emotions enough that they get your argument? My example is children. Children are oftentimes dumb and insist that they know everything even well before they become a teenager. When my niece was little, she was 4, we were at my nephew's birthday party, and I wrote her name Evie, E-V-Y, on a cup because she is named Evelyn, and I was lazy, so I just wrote Evie, E-V-Y. This 4-year-old takes the cup, looks at it, and says, you forgot the second E. And I say, no, see, I wrote your nickname, Evie, E-V-Y. And she says, yeah, but it's Evelyn. And she looked at me like, you are the stupidest adult I have ever met. And I looked at her like, well, you're the stupidest 4-year-old that I have ever met. And I'm not going to fight with a 4-year-old. So what I told her was, look, it says your nickname. Are you done with soda? Okay. Then get out of my face. Right? So if someone is utterly stupid, why waste your time? And then truthiness. Truthiness is a new condition to this the truthiness was added to the 3rd edition and expanded in the 4th edition. I wonder why. And so if someone is committed to believing something that may not be based in something that is scientific or evidentiary, oftentimes opinion based, it's going to be hard to answer them rhetorically.